Rafael Nadal wins the US Open for his 16th Grand Slam title. Playing with the conviction and point-by-point urgency of his finest years, Rafael Nadal completed an even split of the 2017 Men's Grand Slam loot with Roger Federer. Nadal, back at number 1 at age 31, underscored his resurgence by defeating Kevin Anderson of South Africa, 6-3, 6-3, 6-4, in the United States Open singles final on Sunday. It was Nadal's third US Open championship and his first since 2013. It was also his first title in a hardcourt tournament since January 2014. But Nadal, with his innate competitive streak, is much more about confronting today's challenges than obsessing over the past, and this triumphant season has been a testimony to his uncommon resilience and drive. Like the 36-year-old Federer, his past and present rival, Nadal has re-emerged at the highest level after an injury layoff. Like Federer, Nadal has won 2 Grand Slam singles titles this year. Federer beat Nadal in 5 sets to claim the Australian Open and then won Wimbledon before losing in the quarter-finals at the US Open to Juan Martín del Potro. Nadal won an unprecedented 10th French Open in June and has now taken the US Open. For me personally, it's just unbelievable what happened to me this year after a couple of years with some troubles, injuries, moments playing not good, Nadal said in the post-match ceremony on Sunday. From the beginning of the season, it has been very emotional. It has been, in so many respects, a throwback season in the men's game, in part because of the physical problems of Nadal's and Federer's traditional rivals. None of the 3 men who won major titles in 2016, Novak Djokovic, Andy Murray and Stan Wawrinka, were able to play in this year's US Open because of injuries. Murray's late withdrawal because of hip pain opened up the bottom half of the draw, from which the 28th-seeded Anderson emerged. After defeating Pablo Carreño Busta in a semi-final on Friday, Anderson, 31, who lives in South Florida, climbed into the stands to celebrate with his team, a move usually reserved for winning titles. "I don't know if the team hug is the appropriate thing for the final, but it certainly seemed like the right thing to do," Anderson said. "These Grand Slams are tough. We are privileged to play with some of the best players in the history of the game. It's nice some of them gave us a bit of a shot to make a run at this tournament." It was an enchantingly modest comment, reflective of all the high-profile withdrawals. It also turned out to be a wise move, because there was not nearly so much to celebrate on Sunday as Anderson had to deal with Nadal, fresh and eager and back on top of the tennis pyramid. "This is unbelievable, to win here for the 3rd time," said Nadal's coach and uncle, Tony Nadal. "It's unbelievable because since 2014, he has had problems with his body and so his mind. To win again is very, very special." At 6 feet 8 inches tall, Anderson, who also has returned to prominence this year after injury, was the tallest player to reach a major singles final, but Nadal kept him constantly off balance and out of position with his whipping shots, ferocious defense and adroit shot-making. Nadal also served superbly. He faced no break points, which is one reason the match generated little sense of drama. "I really thought Rafa still had this inside of him," said Carlos Moya, a former number 1 player who joined Nadal's coaching team this season. "It's easy to say that now, of course, but honestly, I was thinking this in December. It was key to start with the final in Australia, but I was sure that he'd have a chance if he played well, to win some more slams and be number 1. Hiring Moya was a major move by Nadal, whom Tony Nadal has coached since age 3. Tony Nadal plans to step down at the end of the season and focus on working at a new tennis academy in Mallorca, the Nadal's home city on the Spanish island of Mallorca. Rafael Nadal's 16 Grand Slam singles titles rank second behind Federer's 19, and though he has been most prolific on clay, He has now won 6 major singles titles on other surfaces. He has won 3 US Open titles and an Australian Open title on hard courts and 2 Wimbledon titles on grass. Though conservative and superstitious by nature, Nadal has continued to push his tennis boundaries. His defense and court coverage, particularly in his semi-final victory over Del Potro on Friday, remain remarkable. "Well, he's not 20 years old anymore, but he's probably smarter on the court," Moyer said. "Anticipation is playing a big role in that. As you get older, you understand better the game and understand where the other guy can hit or cannot hit. Probably when he was 20, he was faster than now, but now he anticipates and covers the court better, so I think we're pretty happy with that part." Tony Nadal sounds happy, too, but he also recognizes that his nephew had an uncommonly smooth path to this particular Grand Slam title. According to the ATP statistician Greg Sharko, this was the first time a man had won a Grand Slam singles title without facing a top 20 seed since seeding expanded from 16 to 32 in 2002. It was also the first time in any of his US Open, Wimbledon or Australian Open titles that Nadal had played none of the other members of the so-called Big Five, Federer, Djokovic, Murray or Wawrinka. He did face Del Potro, a former US Open champion now ranked 28th, in the semi-finals. "I consider Del Potro as top level, but the reality is, we had an easy draw until then," Tony Nadal said. Anderson certainly has weapons. He has a potent serve, one that Nadal blunted effectively by standing so deep to return that he was practically in need of a ticket. Anderson also moves and covers the baseline well for a player of his height, producing big power with his ground strokes. He has long been eager to embrace innovative methods, like eye movement training, to improve his game. This year, he has been focusing on being more demonstrative and openly positive on court, in part because he admires Nadal's upbeat and energetic approach to competition. "You have been an idol of mine," Anderson told Nadal after the final. Born less than a month apart in 1986, Nadal and Anderson have known each other since boyhood. They played in some of the same junior tournaments, and a photograph of them grinning side by side from those days has regularly made the rounds on social media or when they have faced off recently. They had a chance to take plenty more photographs together on Sunday in Arthur Ashe Stadium, but as has so often been the case throughout his career, Nadal was the one holding the Champions Trophy.